to reaction shots for February, though it is now March. Huber was abroad for work stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I love
he's
being
back,
abroad.
and we're back. I love being abroad too.
Right when that came out of my mouth, I was like, the pun intended, I suppose.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. You'd make a great broad.
Thank you.
It would
Gotta
be
see.
chaos, pure chaos.
I gotta go to Rocky Horror Picture Show one time.
Oh my god.
Never done it.
Going somewhere with Michael Huber in drag would be, oh my god, new life goal unlocked.
Yeah. I will do everything except lipstick.
Why that? That's like the easiest thing.
I don't know. I just don't. Like, even chapstick, I'm just like weird. I don't know.
You do have pretty dry lips most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The napkin thing is fun when you go.
Yeah.
That's the best part of lipstick. Yeah.
You do lipstick and then you just like kiss it off onto a. You can do your arm or like a napkin.
Like, even when I kiss someone and they're wearing lipstick, I'm just like, I don't know. It's something about lipstick. It's like, I'm not into it.
You don't like the texture. It's a textural thing, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
This is interesting to me. This is interesting news to me.
Yeah. I don't know.
I use a tinted lip balm usually.
Nice.
It's a little less like thick.
Yeah. I like the balms.
Yeah. Anyway, this is Lipstick Corner, our podcast about lipstick. Yeah, so this month we were talking about cool camera moves. You know, your atonements, your presences, your shinings, you know, just anything with a cool ass camera move.
I've got an unexpected one.
Your Evil Deads.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear your unexpected one. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about what we've seen lately. And I was going to briefly just kind of like brush over the Oscars because that happened yesterday.
Hulu briefly brushed over them. When I was watching on Hulu, they cut it off.
I heard
before
that.
the final two awards for like a whole big chunk of the country. I think a lot of the country watching it, and then you couldn't finish it.
It was weird because I had paused it because we had food arrive, and it was during the Morgan Freeman's speech about Gene Hackman, and we didn't want to miss that, so we paused it. And I think that saved us because we switched to like we were not live, you know. So then we didn't have any break, and it was I don't know, or we were just I don't know. LA, they didn't cut it off. I don't know, but
Crazy.
yeah.
I was
Apologies.
raw dogging it on basic TV.
You
There
really?
you go. Yeah.
You have an
That was the
actual
move.
TV.
It went to my parents' house.
I see. Yeah, that's the classic move. That's the classic move. Apologies if my energy is kind of weird this month. I had a friend pass away yesterday, so yeah, just wanted to mention that because it's on my mind. So if I seem a little blue, that's why. Anyway, okay, let's just do the Oscars real quick. Adrian Brody set a record for the longest acceptance speech in Oscars history.
Is this true or a joke?
No, that's true.
Wow.
4 minutes
Yeah,
and 50 seconds or something like that.
It's so crazy because he
5 minutes. something?
started out thanking his people and like himself or whatever and like doing his thing.
Well, he started out talking about
And-
acting, and then he started thanking people like 4 or 5 minutes into it.
I like
so
how
it
he
was-
said
it was
thanking
like-
himself. Yeah,
It was like
there's a lot of that.
but then right when they started to play him off, he started to get there to like the good message or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But just the whole time he just talked too slowly. He like was winging it, and he should have had something prepared because he just did it all so slowly, so it came out like uncomfortable and dragging.
I mean, it's classic Adrian Brody to just wax philosophical and like kind of you know, in a not unpretentious kind of a way. Kieran Culkin won for Best Supporting Actor and had a funny speech about his wife saying they could have a fourth kid if he won an Oscar. So that was awkward, but that's what you expect from Kieran Culkin. I like him. He's funny.
Hell yeah.
I hope he's unproblematic.
He's a wild card.
He's a wild card.
Every time I see him in interviews, he's like half of the characters he portrays.
Yeah, he just wins for playing himself, but he's interesting and weird, so everyone's like, hell yeah. Mikey Madison won for Anora. A lot of people are saying they had wished Demi Moore had won. I mean, for me, this was an interesting Oscars, speaking candidly, because it was just like, I wasn't really rooting for anything. I was just happy if Emilia Perez didn't win. Because I was just like, I was just rooting against, and I didn't care what won otherwise.
Anora and The Brutalist, but I did really want Demi Moore to win, regardless.
Yeah. But I mean,
anytime someone is like way older and like been around and like never won, and it's probably like the only time they could ever win, it's like I lean towards that a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, women directing horror movies or women acting in horror movies. I really, really want success in that category. Just opens the door for so much more, and it also deserves recognition. So,
but also it like hurt me because Anora was fucking amazing. I love that movie.
Yeah. Simpsons did win for Best Makeup, which I think is very deserved.
Appropriate,
Just incredible. I mean, I think it's awesome that a feminist body horror was nominated for as many things, including Best Picture. Like, I think that's pretty cool. Zoe Saldana won for Emilia Perez, which we kind of figured would happen, even though
she was the only like bearable part of that movie.
Yeah, and not even. But Flo, Best Animated Feature, In the Shadow of the Cypress, Best Animated Short, The Brutalist for Cinematography, which makes sense. Wicked for Costume Design, which makes sense. Also, first black man to win for costume design, I think, something like that. Yeah, which is super cool. Directing was Anora, Sean Baker. Anora, got almost everything it was nominated for. I think it got 4 out of 5 that it was nominated for, or something like that. No Other Land, winner for Best Documentary Feature, which is a really interesting one, because that was distributed in America because of fascism.
Yeah, that speech, I definitely teared up watching it.
For sure.
It was like something I really hadn't seen in Oscars history before. Yeah. To have that platform and to use it so well and to say so many important things. It was amazing. I was like, are they going to play them off with the music just for saying those things?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Guy Ritchie had a Free Palestine pen on too. That was cool to see. Yeah.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by, like, obviously there was nobody slapped anybody, so that's always a plus. But the messaging was generally pretty good. Weird that no one mentioned trans people at all from any of the Emilia Perez wins, and I'm like, oh, that's funny. Like, it's like you guys don't give a shit about what you made a movie about. That's curious. But yeah, the No Other Land speech was just like, whew, I want to try to find a way to watch that, because it's...
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it sounds so powerful. Conan, I thought, did a great job hosting, had some very funny jokes.
So funny. I miss him.
Some shocking, some of those jokes so I was like, good. Holy shit, you could say that? Really good. The Only Girl in the Orchestra, documentary short winner. Anora, film editing. International feature, I'm Still Here, thank goodness.
I saw that. It was good. It was really good. It was from Brazil. Did either of you see that? It was good. It was about dictatorship in Brazil, disappearing people. It was very eerie to watch because it kind of starts, at the beginning of clamping down. And, it just felt like there were parallels. Yeah, it felt like there were parallels because things start off normal, people hanging out at the beach and, then police start raiding people's home and looking over their shit. And then all of a sudden, people just go to, prison and then you never hear from them again. Yeah. No, it was eerie.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was only playing at theaters. I was like, damn, this movie's so new that it's like only in theaters.
hell yeah.
And it's up for Best Picture right now. It's like,
Yeah.
you can't even fucking watch this shit.
I know you really liked The Girl with the Needle too, and I haven't seen that yet, but
Phenomenal. Yeah.
makeup and hairstyling, The Substance, as we said, music went to The Brutalist. That guy was so shy.
Dude, the score to me was one of
Oh,
the most
yeah.
contentious. Because like
Yeah, that was a
Challengers didn't
tough
get
one.
nominated, obviously, but then the ones that were also so good, like Conclave.
Except for
from,
Emilia Perez, which music has terrible
yeah.
garbage music. But yeah,
Conclave, the one from All Quiet on the Western Front. Dev, right? Same. God.
inexplicably, a song from Emilia Perez did win Best Original Song.
That was the only song I remember from the movie.
It was,
If that's saying something.
I mean, yeah, bad can be memorable too. And their speech was so insufferable. Holy shit.
They started singing off at the end.
God.
yeah,
My
get over
God. I was
yourself.
just I was like, oh.
I almost muted it.
And the director just like skulking around in the background, like trying to
with
like
his little hat on
with
with,
his
the
stupid
movie
little hat,
name.
trying to
Yeah.
get out of the limelight, but like so obviously like just drawing more attention to himself. I'm like, you're such a douche, man. What the fuck? Anyway, whatever. Best Picture was Anora. Production design, Wicked, obviously. Actually, that was a very contentious category. But Wicked,
Yeah.
they built so many sets, and like, but any one of these, I was like, yeah.
That could have gone to any of them.
Yeah,
That was
all
a
of
good
them were
category.
incredible.
Yeah.
Live action short, I Am Not a Robot. Sound was Dune Part 2, which, good sound in that one, but that was a contentious category mostly.
The thumping.
Oh my god, yeah. Visual effects, Dune Part 2. This was a contentious category as well. I thought, like, you know, say what you will about Better Man, because nobody saw it, because America doesn't know who, what's his name is, but
all our Discord
the ape
participants
stuff
saw
looked
it.
good, yeah. And Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the apes always look great in that. I was a little surprised by Alien Romulus, because I thought some of the, especially like the deep fake on Rook
fixed
looked
it.
really bad. They kind of fixed it. It looks better now, but yeah, they got a patch in for the Blu-ray release, but Dune Part 2, good choice. I really liked the infrared stuff in that. Writing was Conclave, and writing original was Anora. So, that's
Like to those.
the Academy Awards.
Sick.
Proud we are
Good
of
show
all
all
of
around.
them. Yeah, it was one of the better Oscars, I thought. Like, inoffensive, but like,
I'm glad they said their main
Conan
show was
is
going to be 4 hours this year, because usually they say it's 3. So they like came out and were like, yeah, it'll be a 4-hour show. I'm always just like, dude, make it fucking 5. You're gonna watch it or not. I have
Yeah.
this conversation
Yeah,
every
that's true.
year.
Good point,
Like,
yeah.
like everyone shut the fuck up about how long it is and let the people who win the awards have their 2, 3, or 4 minutes of time to thank someone.
but the thing is, Huber, like, I agree with you philosophically. The issue is, there are two kinds of people that go long, right? People who are making a good, powerful speech about an important topic, or egomaniacs who are insane and just go on and on.
But it feels like the Oscars will let those people fucking go on, and then when you get someone up there who's like just normally thanking people,
Yeah.
all of a sudden 30 seconds in, they're like, okay, music, wrap it up.
Well,
Boom,
it's-
boom, boom. It's like, what?
It's very clear which categories like matter more, like best actor, best actress, director, and
they're
best
never
picture.
gonna-
They all but won't play them off, especially best actor.
So it's like, dude, just give them time. Like, what are, like, to really, if you're cutting people off to save, like, even overestimating saving 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, your show's 4 hours instead of 3.5, or like 4.5 instead of 4. Who the fuck cares? So tired of it.
Love
Just like
it.
who's complaining? People that like don't want
Probably
to
the people in the
change the
room.
channel. Like,
It might be for the people in the room, because apparently the Oscars are like legendarily horrible to sit through, because you like barely have time to go for pee breaks, and like you've got light shining on you the whole time. Like, yeah, it's, I don't know. Not that I've been
mean,
there, but
these are the people that like won't watch movies in the theaters. They'll just get like the screeners and still complain about it. So I don't really have sympathy there. Like, come on here.
Michael Huber, enemy of all people.
When
Where is my
Sean Baker had the speech about movie theaters, man.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts. Hell yeah. Sean Baker probably didn't mind fucking sitting in that auditorium for however long. Like, it's crazy.
Well, they kept giving him awards. I bet he loved it.
True, exactly. But yeah.
Yeah, if I was
think-
winning Oscars, I would sit for any amount of time.
Exactly. Or even if you were nominated, like, if you're in the room, think about like how limited that space is and like the privilege of being in that room at all. Think about how many like hardcore successful working actors and actresses and everyone are just not invited to the show this year, that are just like, oh, their room is full, like I have to watch at home. So like I have no sympathy for the show being long whatsoever. It's my rant of the day.
I loved it. What have
Probably
you
got another one
seen?
in the pipe.
Well, while you're on ranting mode, what have you seen lately, Huber?
I watched all the Oscar movies, well, the ones I could, most of them. But before that, on my flight to London and back, I love airplane movies. I throw on the schlockiest of schlock. So I watched Camera Moves, dude. Ambulance by Michael Bay.
Okay.
Michael Bay, whatever.
Yeah,
But this movie is an LA bank heist movie, so right in my wheelhouse. It's the one with Jake Gyllenhaal where they rob a bank, steal an ambulance.
Okay.
Dude, this movie had like Evil Dead-esque insane camera shots where it was like flying around and like up buildings and down buildings and like in between cars. Like I was kind of shocked. I was like, I didn't expect the movie to look like this. Like it's kind of cool.
That's
So
neat.
yeah. Watch like Godzilla versus Kong or Godzilla Cross Kong. That was fine. Watched Aquaman 2. My hot take is that Aquaman 1 and 2 are the best DCEU movies.
I haven't
the
seen
DC
either of them.
From the DC universe. I think it's like they're easily the best. They're better than Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel, Justice League, all that shit. Like
Low bar, but yeah.
Low bar. I'm not like insanely praising these movies as like 10 out of 10 art, but I think out of all of those DC superhero movies, they stand the tallest.
Better than second Suicide Squad?
Ooh, forgot about that one.
Yeah.
I mean, that one is like the best quality.
Yeah.
But I don't know, dude. Aquaman, like, there's something about it. I find it like endearing. I don't know. I like those movies. I like James Wan a lot. He did both. Like,
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then Venom 3, which
boy.
was just awful. It was just so awful. Yeah. And then just a bunch of Oscar movies, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yeah. Well, not if they don't have good camera moves. Not if they don't have good camera moves.
Yeah.
We won't talk about them.
I know.
Now's your time.
Now's my time. The Brutalist
Shoot your
is
shot.
the best. And Honora. Honora and The Brutalist are my favorite by far. They were so incredible. Honora felt like... I felt seen. I'm not a Russian oligarch rich person or a sex worker.
Could have
but
fooled me.
There was something about that movie that felt like relevant to this time and generation. And like, you know, the rich versus the working. Like, if you want to distill it all the way down, like her trying to escape this life for something better and like lying to herself and wanting to believe and hope. Like, I fucking love that movie. The Brutalist is like more traditional. Like, you know, I mean, I see a lot of people compare it to like There Will Be Blood. I think There Will Be Blood is like 24/7 when you're watching that, you're just kind of tense and miserable. Whereas The Brutalist has a lot of like relaxing scenes, a lot of scenes that you can just like sit in your tub in. It's one of those movies like come to a conversation, and because the movie is so long, it's allowed to breathe. You have these conversations that like can really get there, and like you feel it just like inhabits the room you're in or wherever you're watching it, and just I really liked that movie took its time, and I thought Adrian Brody was fucking incredible, and those were my two favorites for sure.
Noich.
Yeah, and Conclave was sick. It was good. Such a dad movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those. Gotta watch them.
Conclave is the only one I haven't seen yet. Yeah, everyone I've talked to that says it's good.
Really good, really good. 2 hours, brisk, thriller.
Sophia and I were sick, so we were watching all kinds of like comfort stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I showed her the first two J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies because I've been trying to get her into Next Generation, and it keeps not working. But then she loves those two, so I was like, okay, all right.
I remember coming out of the movie from the second one, pumped. I remember because everyone was
That's
not
the weakest
into
of the
it.
three, yeah.
I know, and I remember coming out like, dude, that was fucking sick. Like, I loved those movies.
I don't hate them, you know, and like I like that they set it up in the first one that it's like a branched storyline, so it's like
is the second one the one where they do that kind of branch
this is the first
parallel time warp where
one
we can spoil things now, but where like the old Spock is able to show up.
First one.
I thought
you throw that gimmick out there first time.
I thought it was kind of a clever way to do that. It was very sort of a complicated conceit, but they landed it in a way where I was like, okay, you pulled this off.
Yeah. They, old Spock shows up briefly in the second one, but
Is 3 considered bad because of all the fucking nerds who are like, it's not as good as the original, or is it like actually not good?
3 is generally, if memory serves, considered pretty inoffensive. 2 is the one that I think people liked the least.
Well, because 3 is 3's Cumberbatch, right?
2 is Cumberbatch.
2, I love 2. Holy shit!
Yeah,
I love that movie. What the hell is number 3?
Number 3 is Beyond. It's the woman with the like stripes on her skin. We haven't rewatched that one yet, so my memory of it is I saw it in theaters and that's it. So like I remember there being.
I think I like stripy skin.
I liked 3. I recall enjoying 3, but then kind of forgetting about it. Clearly,
dude, stripy skin lady was sick.
Yeah, she rules.
Yeah.
She's great. We all love stripy skin ladies.
Yeah.
Here on Reaction Shot. Anyways, then
in this house.
Yo, I'm watching the Star Trek movies. I love.
Hell yeah, dude! They're fun, dude. They get emotional. Like, I mean, it's been an emotional, life. But the first movie, dude, the music and like the beginning when Chris Hemsworth is in the movie for like 8 minutes.
Yeah, and, that part is. So
I was like
epic.
getting choked up. I was like, oh god, like. And it was funny because we were sick, we were like, okay, let's catch up on the Oscar movies. And I was talking to Elise, and I was like, yeah, we should watch Nora or The Brutalist. But she was like, Conclave is our favorite. And I was like, oh, okay. But then we ended up just watching Evil Dead Rise instead.
Nice.
Which has cool camera moves. The very first, they do the Raimi Evil Dead shot, like right off the bat.
The nod.
And like, it's in like the woods or whatever, and I was like, oh, this feels like a drone, and then the reveal is like, that it is a drone, like that. It's funny. That was a fun movie. I don't know, cool, like,
oh yeah,
one building kind of a nightmare, which was neat. What else did I watch? September 5 we watched. I kind of liked it. I mean, like, as a historical moment in time of a thing that happened, just from the perspective of like, and like I understand production in that, like TV production and stuff like that, and like I TD for our podcast every week, right? So it's like doing that switcherboard is like part of what I do, right? So it was really interesting in that regard. Like, I didn't find that the movie like took a certain stance or whatever, but like I acknowledge that the timing is a little weird, you know, given the current landscape. But I mean, like, as a movie just focusing on the production in that moment of history, I was like, yeah, this is interesting. What else did we watch? Oh, Scream 5 and 6. And we watched a recap of 1 through 4 beforehand, and I was like, oh yeah, I've seen all these, like, no problem. And then, like, halfway through 6, I was like, I don't think I ever saw 4, because I don't know who Kirby is. But yeah, those are fun.
Good movie.
Those movies are very insular as a franchise.
They're, like,
it's so self-referential. It's so hard to jump into. Like
In the top 3 of all time.
the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, you can just kind of jump in and
Right.
you know,
The Dream Warriors.
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
quite.
like I mean, I love all of them and I've watched all of them, but I feel like, you know, you can jump in, enjoy it, and then it may compel you to go back and like learn more and enjoy more. But like Scream,
better not
I
start
started
with
jumping in
New
and
Nightmare,
I was
though.
like lost, like totally lost. I saw the first one. And then I just had no idea.
Oh, they are
what
like
was going on the other.
They are
Screams.
actual sequels. Like even though
Yeah.
Scream 5 is like even within the movie they call it a requel, you know, and like you could potentially jump in on it, but like if you know the rest of the history, it hits way better. Like
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised by the internal consistency of the Scream series. It's pretty wild.
Oh, I like it when when she gets the call. Maybe it's Scream 5 or Scream 6, and he's like, "What kind of scary movies do you like? Do you like art house scary movies, or what is he? What is he?
She says
You
she
like
likes
elevated.
she says she
horror
likes
movies?
elevated horror, and then he's like, that stuff sucks. It's like,
Doesn't he talk about It Follows or something like that?
She
Or
does.
She does.
Yeah, she mentions
that's
It
amazing.
Aren't they making a
That made me
new one?
laugh.
they are making a new one. It was a little
So
fraught
sick.
because what's her name spoke out in favor of Palestine, and then they fired her ass, which is
Oh, I was talking about
fucked.
Scary Movie.
Oh, you're
But
thinking
yeah,
about
I know
Scary
who
Movie?
you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Scream 7.
Yeah.
But then
yeah.
Jenna Ortega left in solidarity, which is pretty chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked that they fired her because of that.
Yeah, it's fucked up. What the fuck?
Yeah, I feel like I saw a bunch of other stuff, but I don't remember it right now, so whatever. Yeah.
Scary Movie 6.
Huh?
In development, June 2026. Scary Movie 6.
Dude,
Yes.
those movies are so like Scary Movie 3 has some pretty good bits in it. Some of them have like some pretty offensive jokes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, from the early 2000s.
Like,
It's
holy
offensive city right
shit,
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 has like 2 offensive jokes, but like shockingly, mostly it's just goofy. But
Craig Mazin wrote Scary Movie 3. What the fuck?
oh really?
So bizarre.
There's one of my favorite like movie jokes is in that where she's looking at the lighthouses and then it's like a split end, like a J cut from the sound of the lighthouse. She gets jump scared by the sound the sound of the lighthouse from the next scene because there's like a non-diegetic
very,
like
very
split end
funny.
edit with the audio. And she gets jump scared by the movie audio. It's so good. Anyway, Matt, what have you seen lately?
Just a couple days ago, I saw Moonlight again in IMAX.
I love Moonlight.
They were doing Moonlight across the country in IMAX for like the 8th anniversary of its famous Academy Award win.
That was 8 years ago. What?
8 years ago, yeah.
I saw that in the theater, but I don't know if I would have need to have seen it in IMAX.
IMAX is a lot because that movie is an emotional wallop, and you know the cinematography is gorgeous.
It's a beautiful movie.
And but the emotions in it just hit so hard in IMAX. This is a new thing for me. I saw Paris, Texas in IMAX. Also,
IMAX
and that movie is
enthusiast. Here we go.
Yeah,
But
it's
just
like-
seeing
it's-
indie darlings.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
so
I love that.
intense to see people's faces doing these dramas in IMAX, and of course, you know, that ocean scene. That's like one of the like when I think of Moonlight, I think of that as one of the like things that comes to mind first. But yeah. It was hard to it's hard to watch, and Jessica got to introduce it at IMAX because she's a film professor here at FSU, the same school that you know, Barry goes to. She was you know, going up through film school with him, and that's how we know him. So that was pretty cool to see her do that and do a Q&A afterwards.
Sorry, my computer just did a thumbs down emoji while you were saying that.
Funny.
Definitely not.
You're like, boo.
Definitely not thumbs downing that. I don't know why that happened.
Very funny. Boo.
It won't do it anymore. Oh, there we go. I got a Mac. I don't know what's going on.
So it reflects whatever things you do. Like,
You can have like, I don't remember which ones there are, but like I know thumbs
do
up.
the heart thing. Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Probably not.
So yeah, I saw Moonlight there, and then
Sick. I love that movie.
Cobra Kai, obviously finished up.
Check out Easy Ally spoiler mode of Cobra Kai.
Did you did one? You
With
released
Damiani. We went long. Yeah, it was insane.
Oh,
How long was
I
it?
gotta-
Like an hour and a half at least. Full retrospective, like
my
deep
God.
dive, all in. Yeah, we go through like the entire show.
I gotta check that in my feed. I didn't even see that show up. Yeah, I gotta look up my new releases.
What do you
then,
think?
yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I obviously loved it, and I won't spoil things,
Yup.
but I like that it honors the Valley so much. Like they really like
We talked
slather
about that
on Valley
montage.
love.
We talked about that Valley montage for
Oh,
like
and
10 full
Encino and the
minutes.
Ventura
Yeah,
trip,
yeah.
Ventura strip, yeah. Because I mean,
So
that's my
sick.
hood. I lived in the Valley for 20 years. I recently moved away from the Valley, but my phone number is still 818 till I die. Not changing that phone number ever. Valley Pride. And the funny thing is, if you don't
Who's
live,
over in Toluca Lake? The 818.
if you don't live in LA, the Valley is very funny because people are pretty snobbish about the Valley. The Valley gets so much hate within Los Angeles.
It's very warm up there, and people
Very
drive
Newark,
really
New
slow.
Jersey-esque.
Yes.
And it's like hatred.
That's a great comparison. Yeah, it's
Valley's
the New
chill.
Jersey of Los Angeles. But
just too damn
you know,
hot.
I was always proud. I didn't take shit when people gave me shit about the Valley. And now the Cobra Kai just loves the Valley. And if you watch it, of course, there's just like so much Valley love. And we're like, the pride of the Valley. This is how we do karate in the Valley. Welcome to the Valley, bitch. All kinds of stuff like that. So obviously that was amazing.
Shout out to my good friend Nick Marini, who's in that show. He's
that's so
a sweetie
great.
pie. Love that guy.
Out.
Yeah, and it ended in a very satisfying way. It got a little corny. I have to say, got a little corny. Like,
Of course.
throughout, not just the ending, but throughout this final chunk of episodes, it started to feel a little after school special. But I love the show so much, and it did enough good things where I was like, cool, thumbs up.
Yep.
Really great way to end it. So that's my
Straight
feeling.
up.
Yeah. And
I agree.
one last thing is on my birthday, which was earlier in February, I did this
birthday.
kind of
Happy
thank you. Happy birthday to Isla, which was just quite
you.
recently.
Happy birthday. Yep.
I did this movie marathon for my birthday where I watched like 6
dream.
movies in a row. And the highlight of that movie marathon was a surprise. I saw it when I was a kid, but haven't seen it since I was a kid. Ended up loving it, and I was like, oh, this is a fantastic movie. It was never a favorite of mine, but I was just like, I need some variety. Let's put this in here in the film festival slot. Cutting Edge. Have either of you seen Cutting Edge? The ice skating movie.
Oh no, I've seen an editing documentary
so much
called
ice
Cutting Edge. I think.
I know that documentary also. Cutting Edge is an ice skating movie with Moira Kelly, who plays Donna in Fire Walk with Me.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, and it also stars DB Sweeney. Moira Kelly is like a professional ice skater trying to win a gold medal in the Olympics, she's so stubborn and hard to work with her, she can't find a partner. And this hockey player, who I think he got like ejected out of his hockey team for being such like a brawler, that he's like, damn, I want to play hockey, but I can't. My team won't take me anymore. Like someone scouts him to team up with Moira Kelly to win this Olympics figure skating gold medal. He doesn't know anything about figure skating, but these two like tough, hard-headed people have to learn how to work together, and they fight all the time. Maybe they might start to have affections for each other. Maybe they might fall in love. We don't know. It's amazing. If you like Yuri on Ice, the anime, for our anime lovers in the
I just
chat.
love figure skating.
Yeah.
In general.
Figure skating is wonderful.
One of my favorite
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, this is great. Mighty Ducks vibe, but with romance. You know, some really, really great romance. It was really well written. It's early '90s, but still has that '80s vibe. Flashdance, Footloose, but like you can take it seriously. It's not so cheesy you can't take it seriously. I loved it. Cutting edge. Yeah, worth a revisit.
Sounds so sick.
It was great.
I was in a pilot for a thing that I don't think ever. Oh, I have a scratch on my face. I was in a pilot for a thing that never, I don't think, ever came to fruition. But I was playing a cult leader, and one of the guys, this like guy that was like dunking people in this lake to like baptize them, was like he used to be a hockey player, but he got like drummed out for having like weed or something like that, and like had to play for like Canada. I don't remember. He was really, I don't know, he was nice. Also, your story reminded me, at my birthday party that I had the other day, I threw on some movies. I made a goth playlist because the theme was goth, and I was throwing on some movies, and I put on The Holy Mountain by Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Yeah.
And I forgot I'm not in film school anymore, so like we made it maybe 15 minutes in when all the like insane nudity and like animal mutilation that I forgot was in that movie. And we were like, okay, let's let's switch off of this. And then I put on The Crow, which was great. And then we put on Dark City, Alex Proyas night.
Hell yeah.
I don't remember what I put on after that. Oh, The Craft.
The Craft is excellent.
Hell yeah.
The Craft is excellent.
Yeah.
I thought part 2 wasn't that bad.
I don't think I ever
part
saw
2
part
wasn't that
2.
bad.
I never saw that one.
I thought it was gonna suck, but it's a chill watch.
I saw
obviously
Carrie
not as good
2.
as the first one, but it's okay.
I just remember I haven't really watched The Craft all the way through since I was like a teen. I remember just like how mean they were to that one girl, and it made me so uncomfortable. Like when they're like racist against her, I was like, "Yo, this is fucked." Like, anyways, anything else?
I think that wraps it up for me. I mean, I watched Aliens as part of my movie marathon because I just wanted like a real.
You're not gonna lead with that? What the
pleasure
fuck?
watch. I mean, we talk about aliens every single episode.
This is an Aliens podcast.
This is fair.
But
This is
I didn't
fair.
watch the fucked up AI version. I had a nice Blu-ray from earlier.
Yeah.
Before the
Alien
fucked up,
Legacy.
so.
The Alien quadrology, even though it should be called tetralogy.
That's the one with a nice foil.
I have that
It
too.
looks like an oil spill.
Oh yeah, I have that too. Some really good bonus features on that.
Did anybody see Juror number 2?
No human being
Clint
has seen
Eastwood.
that movie.
Oh, I watched that on the plane, and it was
Our buddy Nick Holt.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was fucking excellent. It was excellent. I recommend that one. It is not what you fully expect. It's really good.
Is he juror number 2? Because that's what I
He
expect.
is Juror number 2.
Wow.
Dude, you got Toni Collette in there too.
Ooh,
It
love
is-
Toni Collette.
She's like the DA. It's epic. Good movie.
Oh yeah, obviously Severance is the greatest. Love Severance. Yellow Jackets not hitting for me this season.
Oh, no, I haven't even started. I might bail. I think I'm out. I think I'm honestly out.
Each
I have
season
no
kinda goes
desire.
lower.
Dude, I don't know. Like they can, pull up can't write the plane, lol lol lol, but like, God, dude, I don't know, man. It feels like they're just like kind of grinding their gears. Like they've blown the transaxle. They're just grinding metal,
That
you
is
know?
so disappointing. I've been thinking about it because I was like, remember Isla said it was like started okay, like it was good, and
Yeah. The first
Now after
episode or
hearing
two was
that-
alright. It's just like the characters have become sort of like caricatures of themselves, and like the modern day stuff is just kind of like, I mean, something crazy happened at the end of the last episode, so maybe it'll finally kind of kick into gear, but like it's one of those things where it's like they're withholding the thing that you like about the show, but it's backfiring because then it's just all the stuff you don't like, kind of. I don't know.
like when shows split their cast up,
Yeah.
and it's like just so fucking annoying. You're like, can we just like have the characters
Yeah.
hang out because that's what we love to watch? Like,
I think Umbrella Academy was the most egregious offender in that regard, where it was like,
it's just tedious.
hey, we did 3 seasons of them like learning to work together and get along. Like, let's not hit the reset button for the final season. Like, ugh. That final season was maybe the worst final season of a show. Like, because I really liked season 2.
Game of Thrones says
I mean,
hello.
Game of Thrones is, pretty unassailable as the worst season in television history. But all right, anyway, enough negativity. Let's talk about camera moves that are neat. We every month on our patreon.com/reaction shots, chuck us $1, $3. You get in, you can do it all. That's the only tier. We're not in it for the money. We're in it just because we want to talk about movies. But yeah, so I asked, what movies have great camera work in general, or just great shots? Because I had recently seen Presence, the new Soderbergh movie. Had the rare privilege of being in the theater to see a Soderbergh movie and seeing a trailer for the upcoming next Soderbergh movie, which comes out like this month, I think, Black Bag. But Presence, if you don't know, is a POV film, apparently like Nickel Boys, which I haven't seen yet, but looks cool.
Nickel Boys is good. Yeah, Nickel is awesome.
And Presence is neat. It's from the perspective of a presence in the house. It's not a horror movie. I think some people kind of didn't like Presence because it was marketed erroneously as a horror movie, which it is not. It is like a family drama. And pretty good. And it's like, oh, God damn it, these reactions. But pretty good. It's a lot of long takes, so some of the acting is like, a couple of the acting moments I'm like, okay, but whatever. Neat. Let's see. If anybody says one of your favorite camera moves or shots or whatever.
Vertigo.
Is that the one you were going to say?
I mean, it's one of the best.
I mean,
of all
Vertigo's...
time.
Vertigo.
Vertigo. I mean, Vertigo hits.
Yeah.
Like
10 out of 10 movie.
put the dolly zoom on the map, you know? I'm in camp dolly zoom. Some people call them zollies, which is also cool, but I've always just liked calling them dolly zooms.
Also,
Severance using a lot of great dolly zooms.
The Shining, like, tracking dolly shots
Oh
where
my
just
God.
people are walking through the hotel are like some of my favorites ever. So good.
The tracking the big wheel is like
Oh my God.
god tier, like out of control. I subscribe to
Same guy as Barry Lyndon, right?
Oh,
That's
really?
Shiny Dude. Yeah.
Probably.
John Alcott. Oh.
I subscribe to American Cinematographer magazine, which great magazine. But I remember their coverage of Atonement back in the day for that big oneer, and they had like the overhead maps of like mapping out the shot and stuff because that shot is nuts.
Great movie. I haven't seen that movie in so long. I remember loving it.
It's a pretty good movie. I feel like it was unfairly like not really even maligned, but just kind of like forgotten. I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta run that back. Good call.
Yeah, pretty
I
good
saw it
movie.
in the theater.
I saw it in the theater too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a sad movie.
It's so sad.
Sad movie about accidents.
and like people not doing the right thing or like speaking up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's kind of a fucked up movie. Yeah, but yes. Uzi Suicide says, some of the more obvious for me are Argento with Tenebrae and Opera, Hitchcock, anything, but especially Psycho, King Kong, Bride of Frankenstein, Night of the Hunter, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Wow, I didn't know Hitchcock directed all those. That's crazy. No, just comma. Just having a little fun with commas. Less obvious for a broader audience, I Saw the Devil, Lucio Fulci's Don't Torture a Duckling, Turo Ishii's Abashiri Prison, and any Terrence Fisher Hammer movie, Lee Chang Dong's
Hammer movies,
Peppermint Candy, Targets, Boris Karloff's last film, Caligula, and Cemetery Man. Sorry, Isla, if reading this out loud is a tongue twister. Watch any of these films for unrivaled cinematography with some of the most unique camera work in cinema history. Finally, watch Perfect Days this month. Almost a perfect film. It's an upper, not a downer. Give it a watch, Isla. Yeah, I thought from the trailers that it would be sad, but I guess it's not, so that's pretty cool. Wim Wenders, like, I'm really sensitive emotionally to stories about, like, kindly older men. You know, life experience, what have you. Also really sensitive to, like, injustice, which is why I hesitate to watch a lot of like films that I later end up loving because I'm afraid that they're going to just make me so upset. Like I still haven't watched Sing Sing, even though I love Coleman Domingo, but I'm just like so afraid to watch it. Like, yeah. Anyway, that's a big list. Any thoughts on anything on that list?
Perfect Days is good.
I Saw the Devil is a 10 out of 10.
I haven't seen that one.
We should talk later, Isla, about that car scene in Perfect Days. Yeah.
Okay, I have to watch it.
I Saw the Devil has like one of the most... It's not really a horror movie, but there is like... It's like a killer, serial killer vibe.
Okay.
There is a scene in that movie that is like the scariest. It is like the scariest thing. That's all I'll say about that. There's just a really, really fucking frightening scene in that movie that just continues to hit and like is. I watched it like again because it's one of my favorites growing up. My Korean friend showed me all the good Korean movies in high school. I'm so fortunate for that friend of mine. And that movie is so intense.
I didn't finish watching it, and I don't know if I got to the scary part. I got to a scary part, and I mean,
you probably saw
it.
You probably saw it. There's a scary part and a graphic part. It's a very good movie.
This is a weird, I don't know why I just thought of this, but like, and it's an interesting one for this conversation about great camera work and great camera moves, especially. But more like interesting camera. I'm thinking of Inland Empire, and maybe one of the scariest or like biggest jump scares that I've ever had in a movie. Like just the shot when she's like coming down the stairs and her face is all crazy. And and he shot that whole movie on like autofocus, like DV, like cameras, like, mini DV, like barely functional, like, and, there's a crazy jump scare with like a clown face lady version in there. And it's, nar. But the shot of her coming down the stairs is just so good. But yeah, like Psycho has amazing shots in it. All those Argento ones, like, I'm most familiar with Suspiria, but there's some cool camera stuff in there.
Good neck stab in Opera.
Oh yeah, Opera I haven't seen.
It just like
There's a lot of stabbing in Argento.
Argento loves a good stab.
Stabby fella.
Fucking good
And then, like-
stab, dude.
And then what's that like paint that we all used as kids, like tempura paint, where it's just
yeah,
like bright
so
ass
bright
red.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Which I think helps
Yeah.
actually make those movies watchable because it takes the reality out a
It would be
little bit.
pretty
yeah.
gory, yeah. Paul Rogers says, "For me, I don't think you can talk about the greatest shots in cinema without talking about Spielberg and especially the Spielberg oneer. Though lots of filmmakers have used long takes, Spielberg seems especially skilled at using those long shots to not show off, but instead move from one setup to the next without cutting and without the audience knowing. While we're talking about Spielberg, the man must be in the running for the most number of iconic shots in cinema history. Just take Jurassic Park. I think almost every scene in that movie has one or more iconic shots. Not just the water glass rumble or the T-Rex chase, but things as simple as Hammond sitting alone in the huge table eating ice cream and then being joined by Ellie talking about the flea circus. The gate. So many iconic shots. Moving on from Spielberg, a few other iconic / amazing shots. Everything in Lawrence of Arabia, but especially Eli Wallach emerging from the desert. I got to see Lawrence of Arabia in '70 at the Grauman's Chinese Theater, and it was like life changing. I'd never seen it before either. I waited. I was like, I'm waiting until I see this on film.
fuck yeah.
It was great.
I've only seen it on a VHS pan and scan.
Oh my
on,
God.
Like a CRT
Oh my
about the size of that pillow behind me.
Honestly, one or the other is probably ideal. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, the bamboo fight. Oh hell yeah! Hero, every scene, but let's say the spear fight. Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the reveal of the Enterprise. Yeah, that was cool. Star Wars: Twin Sunsets and the Trench Run. Aliens, the Alien Queen / Ripley fight. Hell yeah.
Favorite.
Terminator 2, take your pick, but the T-1000 walking through the bars. Yeah. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, all the close-ups in Leone movies, but especially the three-way duel at the end. Goodfellas, the walk to the stage via the kitchen oneer. The Matrix, Bullet Time, I Know Kung Fu, Dodge This, the helicopter crash. Hang on, I'll be back in a couple hours. I need to watch The Matrix. I think that's a good enough list to start with, though I realize I haven't mentioned any Wes Anderson or P.T. Anderson or even Paul W.S. Anderson. I'll leave it here, but was awesome meeting up with Huber in London and hope Isla can make it down sometime. And I look forward to hearing how A Bittersweet Life holds up and finally getting a Billy Jack reaction shot special episode.
Billy Jack.
I have the DVD that they sent us. It's in that cabinet right there. Just say the word.
Billy Jack.
Hero is really cool.
Yeah.
I love Hero. Hero's
Love
Christopher Doyle. So the Wong Kar-wai's cinematographer.
And Maggie Chung is in it.
Yeah, in the movie. Oh, yeah. So I wonder how those connections happen. I mean, I know Christopher Doyle does a lot of Hong
Dude, he
Kong
shot in
movies.
The Mood for Love also.
In the Mood for Love,
Yeah.
Chungking Express, Happy Together, Fallen Angels, Days of Being Wild.
Some of the
a
most
lot of his
beautiful,
stuff. Yeah.
maybe, In the Mood for Love is maybe one of the prettiest films ever shot.
Yeah,
good
it is.
God.
I don't know how he does it. And
Weaponized longing.
I'm trying to think of a non-ableist way to say it. He's an interesting person. Just look up on YouTube of him talking, and he says the wildest shit that people shouldn't say in interviews. He seems very problematic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Great.
He just spouts the nonsense, the very sexually charged nonsense. There, I think that I dodged bullets there. Watch it for yourself.
That is a bummer.
He's a genius, and I admire him and looked up to him for the longest time. And when I went to Hong Kong and AD'd some stuff for a show I was shooting, I was like, I'm gonna try and recreate and do some of my own stuff in Hong Kong that obviously you can't do anything on the level of Christopher Doyle, but I was like, he's my hero of cinematography. If I could do anything that even is 100 levels below him, I'll have succeeded.
Yeah.
And then I watched these interviews and I was like, oh, maybe I don't have to be like him.
Never meet your heroes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's talking about Spielberg Wonders just made me think about the beginning of The Player, the Altman movie, when they're just talking about how nobody opens movies with a long take anymore while they're doing a long take. It's just funny. I like it. The Player.
I think one of the most disturbing shots of all time is Spielberg. It's in Private Ryan in the beginning on D-Day.
Oh my God, yeah.
And
that
it's like,
shit is insane.
There's a shot, because there's a lot of close-ups of obviously like people dying and getting shot or whatever, but there's a shot from the German POV in the bunker. The camera is just like right behind, over this shoulder of this soldier with a machine gun, and you see the boat down on the beach come up, and the guy is just like firing, and like 40 people just like crumple and die.
Yeah.
And it's like the most fucked up casual shot like ever. It's haunting. I still like see it like in my brain all the time.
I remember I was working at our local movie theater in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin, when that movie was in theaters, and like we had to take special care, like I think like at the request of the studio, that no one under 17 went into that movie because it was so intense.
Yep.
Like we had to be like, hey, like no, like no kids, like this thing is intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember seeing it in the theater and I was like, holy crap, this is insane. Fede Krauch.
Fede.
Every time
they at the Oscars said Denis Villeneuve multiple times. They said it last
very
night.
Different. Everyone said it differently though.
Yeah.
Which was very funny.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Extraction movie. Oh yeah, that one has a really good long take. Some of the camera movement in those action scenes are unbelievable. I don't know how they pulled it off. On the TV side, Daredevil and Mr. Robot have incredible camera shots, especially the fight scenes in Daredevil and Mr. Robot's episode without any cuts. Mm-hmm. Also, that episode of Haunting of Hill House. Oh my God. Yeah, loved that episode.
And that episode of The Leftovers.
Which one was the long take?
International Assassin.
I don't remember that one.
Season 1. Didn't you skip season 1?
I watched half of season 1 and I hated it so much.
It's the second half.
God damn it. Okay, well I haven't seen it then. That's why I don't remember it. Yeah. But I really liked season 2 and 3. Shout out to Carrie Coon in the season 3 of White Lotus.
White Lotus, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen either of the Extraction movies, but I saw a behind the scenes of how they did the long take in the second one, and I was like, wow, this is really cool.
Sick.
Daredevil, yeah, I mean, the Daredevil scene is obviously like a shout out to the Old Boy, famous hallway fight scene, which is God tier, incredible shot, just insane choreography and teamwork. I suddenly thought of it, but in the original West Side Story, I really love the camera shot in Be Cool when the dancers all kind of freeze and the camera just like moves around them all. It looks so good. It's so cool.
Also love a good Tarantino opening the trunk shot.
Oh yeah.
Classic.
In film
There's a
school,
couple of those, right?
Yeah.
Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown.
Fiction, like all
is there
of
one
them?
in all of them?
Yeah. Like those
feet
three
in
for
the
sure.
trunk shots. Yeah. In film school, one of my cinematography teacher was like, I'm banning movies that start on a shot of an alarm clock and shots from the inside of the fridge. I don't want to see it. He was like,
funny.
Don't do it.
That's so funny. That's so good.
So now anytime I see one of those, I'm just like, Like, I don't know if that was just a pet peeve that he had, but like now it like stands out to me every time I see them.
Yeah. That's so good.
Fede has this month's corrections. Alien Earth will take place 2 years before the first Alien, so it's possible that that's how Weyland Yutani finds out about LV-426. Yeah. Wayland Yutani definitely knows about the alien before the events of Alien.
It wasn't Prometheus like way before, and Wayland Yutani was like Wayland was already on it. Like what?
They weren't merged yet. It was just Wayland.
Yeah, it was Wayland, but like Wayland knew what the hell was going on. I guess maybe because because of the events of that film, maybe not everybody else knew or something. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? Well, somebody probably knows. Noah Hawley probably knows. The Marvel Studios output has reduced from 3 to 4 movies a year to 2 to 3 movies a year, and also fewer seasons releasing. Okay, yeah, because I think we said 1. Not to sound mean, but it's pronounced Amelia Perez, not Amelia Perez. I hate the movie, but that's the correct pronunciation. Yeah, I'm saying it wrong out of a protest. Because no one in the movie can speak Spanish either, so Mexican Spanish. Sorry, I just fucking hate that movie. Zach Wojnar says, I don't like camera work that calls too much attention to itself, but I also like...
It insists upon
itself. But I also like long oneers as long as it's not too gimmicky. I rolled my eyes every time a blatantly obvious hidden cut showed up in 1917. Oh, gee, the camera went completely behind a column. You think there's a cut there? Duh.
Dude,
I liked it, but yeah, give me a break. If you're not going to do it for realsies, then just don't do it.
I agree with this opinion. Why are you showing off if you can't pull it off?
Generally, that's how I feel about a lot of stuff where it's like, if you can't do it, don't do it. Like in video games or a lot of times where it's like, like if you can't pull it off, don't try. Like, I mean, I don't know, you should try, but like, I don't know, because I also want people to strive, for greatness. I think that like,
Sure.
In
but
stuff
oneers are like interesting or fascinating because of why they're made. And just like, oh, here we go. Now we hit it behind a thing.
It's an interesting case with 1917 and Birdman specifically, because I feel like in those movies, they're using a one take narratively. Like it's like very narratively driven, and they're trying to put you in a kind of like, pseudo first person, like real time kind of a vibe. So they're doing it for the like, the kind of like feel of the film, And so like to me, it bothers me less because it's still like super impressive that each of them is, a 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or whatever minute take, which is like still hard and crazy.
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah.
Like not everything
what's going on in 1917. It's one of the best movies I've ever fucking seen in a movie theater.
It was a good theater experience, but not everything can be Russian arc where it's like literally one shot, and like it limits you to do one shot too. Like, cause Birdman has all kinds of like time jumps and stuff, and
I hate Birdman.
Birdman's cute. I don't know, whatever. But
my top 10 worst movies.
But then it's interesting where it's like, because I rewatched the end of episode 4 or 5 of season 1 of True Detective, where it's that oneer, and it's interesting to me because it's like it is one take, but they built in, I think 3 or 4 places where they could cut if they needed to like stitch the takes together, and those are really obvious to me, even though I love the take and I think it's amazing. But like there are intentional parts where they go by a door frame or tilt up to the helicopter light, and like I read an interview about that shot, and it's like they put those in there in case they had to cut to fix because they only had enough time to do the shot like 4 times or 3 times. But they didn't end up needing them, And it's always such an interesting thing because it's like, yeah, you need to have the insurance. But at the same time, it's like, does it ruin the shot to plan ahead like that?
And what is like the longest like official one take? I feel like even one take movies are always hiding a cut somewhere.
Well, Russian Ark, which I haven't seen, but I know is one take.
Is that experimental weird
and I think
shit?
it's like 2, maybe even. Oh, it tops 2
thought
hours.
it was,
I think.
Yeah, but it's one take though, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
They shot it over the course of like a night at a museum or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
other than like random Russian experimental weird movie.
I mean, I had a friend who made a feature that was 3 takes, and it wasn't like gimmicks. It really was just 3 edits, and it was like
think
a
that's better. I think
feature-length
that's
movie.
better,
And it's called Too Late. And it came out like
I like that.
Yeah, like maybe around 2000.
Just have the cut. Yeah, just have the cut.
Yeah.
Just have it.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, there's
and
like
it wasn't a hidden cut. It was like chapter 2,
Yeah.
chapter 3.
oh, yeah,
I like that.
Kinda
I like that.
deal.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
That's cool. That's really cool.
I mean, then stuff like Rope, where it's like each take was the length of a roll of film, basically, and it's like they really cleverly timed it out to like hide the cuts. And like I recently watched it, and like it's pretty convincing a lot of the time, and like that was, call it a gimmick, whatever, but it's like really does kind of put you in the intensity of the situation because it feels like it's folding out in real time. Then there's like Werkmeister harmonies, where it's like a 3-hour movie over 11 shots, and you're just like, it was weird because I'm like, I love this. It's like hypnotic and crazy, but at the same time, it's like I just watched a guy walk down the street for 3 straight minutes. It's just like, okay, like I don't know, crazy movie. Where were we? Zach Wojnar continues, if you're not going to do it for realsies, then just don't do it. I like camera work that utilizes a lot of depth, like in a 3D movie. Some 3D movies look like garbage when seen in 2D, but others, like Prometheus, Transformers 3, and Resident Evil 4 Afterlife, hey, great camera work and cinematography ain't got nothing to do with the quality of a movie's script, look pretty dang gorgeous anyway you watch them. Also, shout out to Captain America the First Avenger, which always makes Cap throwing his shield look perfect in 2D or 3D. It does look really good. That mighty shield is zooming right toward the camera, and it's gorgeous. I forgot they put that out in 3D. I don't think any subsequent Cap appearance did proper justice to the shield compared to that 2011 debut.
Especially because he like has the shield and the pistol.
Yeah.
Always love that.
That's a good
combo.
shot, yeah.
He like never really does that ever again. The shield pistol combo is so sick.
Finally, maybe it's overused these days, but anytime you put a camera on a drone, that's catnip to me. I usually
Ambulance, dude, check it out.
I usually
You're a
don't like
freak.
impossible camera moves that require CGI virtual sets, and it just screams out, I'm fake. But when you put a camera on the drone, all bets are off. The shots that were once impossible, now they are feasible without a wholly CGI setup. Not that I'm an anti-CGI guy, but I think movies benefit when they're grounded by unbelievable camera movements. Shout out to J.J. Abrams and his fast, tight zooms to convey the camera's physicality within the world. And don't get me started on God of War. Who cares that your game is in one unbroken shot? It's not real. There's no physical camera in the game world, so who cares? I think that, again, it's just like they did it for the vibes, but yeah. I remember in my cinematography class, I wish I could remember the name of the movie. There's a heist, and it's a long take, and it's a very, very indie movie. If memory serves. I really don't remember what the movie was. Huh?
Rafifi.
Maybe. I think it was
French.
I don't know.
That's an older French one, right?
No, I've seen Rafifi. I don't know if it was Rafifi, but there's a shot where and he like showed us the shot, and then he's like, tell me how they did this, because it's no CG, no tricks, it's pre all that, like none of that existed. And the camera comes out of a bank or whatever, down the staircase, goes through a car, like behind the passenger in the driver's seat, and then like into another building. And like the shot was really good and like very seamless, and like the doors are shut on the car, whatever. And we were all like looking at it, and it was just the easiest thing. Like the first camera person just passes the camera through the window of the car to someone in the back seat, who just goes like this. And then another camera person just grabs it from the other side of the window, just reaches in and takes and it's like that kind of shit I love, where it's just like, hey, take this and just hand it to another person. And like that stuff I think is just so much fun.
Love that.
We recently watched Birdcage, actually the day before Gene Hackman died, which was really intense.
I know. I watched like Unforgiven like a week ago. That was so crazy.
Yeah.
Timing.
But the first shot of Birdcage, and like you notice it a little more now, but like helicopter across the ocean into the front of the Birdcage Club, and they you can tell where it fades into the crane
Fade
jib
India.
shot. But like, and then it goes into the club, and it's like still a really cool setup. Anyway, what'd you say?
Fade Into You.
Exactly.
Great song.
Yeah. Mark Hallinan says, big shout out to the dolly zoom. Yeah. Camera technique initially attempted by Alfred Hitchcock in the 1940 film Rebecca, but unfortunately was not successful in achieving the desired effect. It would be 18 years later on Vertigo that a cinematographer named Ermin Roberts was tasked by Hitchcock to help him master the shot. Possibly the most famous dolly zoom of all time is Get Out of the Water in Jaws, yeah. But I really like the Severance smaller, subtler dolly zoom. Man, I just hit all these things earlier. Severance smaller, subtler dolly zoom in the elevator scenes to illustrate the transition from innie to outie, which coupled with Adam Scott's incredible eye-flickering acting, creates a truly unique effect. For people who don't know, I'll explain what a dolly zoom is. So a dolly zoom is when the camera is pushing in and the camera is zooming out on the lens, or vice versa, pulling out and pushing in. So you're basically keeping the subject the same size in the screen. Think Severance, transitions in the elevator, or Jaws, where the background, it like elongates the background because the depth of field is changing, but the person in the front of the frame is staying the same. That's the basic explanation of it. And it's really cool. It has a really amazing effect. And like in Vertigo, they did it facing down, which is like crazy. And it's like just really neat. And I've always really liked them. I did a few in film school projects, of course, because everybody did. But yeah, really fun.
They feel like a way to get inside a character's head, even though it's on the outside. Like I feel a Vertigo zoom inside myself all the time. When you get like some heavy news, you're like, oh. Yeah. Rebecca is a great movie. Like I think Vertigo has, I mean, the colors are so rich and the camera work is so innovative. But Rebecca's story is so cool. When I was a kid, I hated Rebecca because I started watching Alfred Hitchcock
fucking
movies because
you hate as a kid, but then they're actually the best.
Yeah, I started watching Alfred Hitchcock because I was like, oh, I want to get into like movies, you know. And Alfred Hitchcock is one of the first names you learn about and hear. And Rebecca, I was like, this movie's so fucking boring, it's so boring. But now when I'm older, I'm like, this movie's great.
Yes,
love that.
It's like it's like a Wuthering Heights kind of gothic, adult ass shit. And Vertigo's good. Jimmy Stewart's a total creep in it. He's like, put on this dress. You're gonna wear these clothes.
It's like, fun. Dude. It's fun to see Jimmy Stewart like in all of his roles, because you know you when you think Jimmy Stewart, you might think of like It's a Wonderful Life, like, or Rear Window, you know.
But like Westerns.
He played some real freaks and like bad dudes. Like, woo. Anyway, from dolly zooms, I have to give special mention to the magnificent overhead tracking shot in John Wick 4, aka the Hotline Miami sequence, in a series famous for shooting action creatively. Jesus, this sequence went above and beyond.
Best John Wick easily. I will not be taking
John Wick
questions.
has some crazy camera shit in it.
Chapter 4, baby. Chapter 4. I
Isn't
was just talking to my dad about this like 2 days ago. I was like, Chapter 4 is the fucking best. Like,
definitely 1 and 4 are my favorites. I was talking about that with Sophia last night.
I feel like I could drop 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I love 2.
Yeah,
I don't dislike
1
them,
and 4. Are,
1 and 4
are definitely the top ones.
Isn't the club sequence in 1 a oneer? Where they play Think by Kudelka or whatever the name of that band is? Whatever.
Sounds great.
Eric Sayor got to mention first the opening
There's a
shot.
club in all 4 of them, though.
Huh?
There's a club in all of them.
That's true. Yeah. The bathhouse in the first one. In my mind, it's a one shot, but I can't remember. Eric Sayer, first of all, I have to mention the opening shot of Touch of Evil. It's still incredible to watch. Very true. And
There's
so tense. There's a trunk shot, yeah.
Yes.
God, the tension in that scene is so palpable. God, what a movie.
Orson Welles, dude, such a fucking bastard in that movie. Holy
yeah.
hell.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Recently, I was blown away by Nickel Boys, a movie that's mostly shot in first person from the point of view of two characters. It feels a bit gimmicky at first, but really makes very emotional. Every emotional scene hit harder. I've also got to mention Spielberg. He's really the greatest at using moving long shots. That feels so seamless because the camera is always focusing on the action. You don't even realize that they're one shots. That's one of my favorite things in movies, where like a couple of minutes into a shot or something, and you're like, have they cut? They haven't cut.
I love that. I love that.
I saw 1917 with my family, and none of them knew it was one shot
I didn't know going in.
when we came out. No, when the movie was over.
Oh,
I was
funny.
like, man, that camera work, right? That one long shot. They were like, what?
I didn't know the gimmick of it going in, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun." Like it was like a minute in, and I was like, "They haven't cut." And then like a couple scenes later, I'm like, "Oh, they're not gonna cut." I mean, I noticed the hidden cuts, but I was like, "Oh, okay, we're doing this then. All right, got it." Finally, as opposed to some more gimmicky fake one-shots like 1917 or Birdman, Victoria 2015.
This 1917 slander is insane, and I'm refused.
It's
to
also
accept
such
it.
a beautifully
Like, what
shot.
The fuck?
It's a
What-
beautifully shot movie, even if the gimmick is not to your liking. Like the fire sequence is insane. Like that burning town is like gorgeously shot. Like good lord,
I was not prepared for this slander.
is that Deakins? Who is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone woke up and chose violence.
You chose violence today. What
How
am I
did
here
you get
for?
1917 catching strays for no reason?
No Deacon slander on this podcast.
God.
Victoria, which I believe was scored by Nils Fram, which I haven't seen it, but I love Nils Fram, is so impressive because it's really shot in one continuous shot over a single across a city, and it gives the movie a real manic energy that can't be reproduced. It's really worth seeing. Yeah, I need to see that one. I like Nils Fram.
I know Deakins does some Coen Brothers stuff. Did
Oh.
he do Big Lebowski? I think he did. I think he did Big Lebowski, right?
He did No Country for sure.
I want to see if he did Big Lebowski because there's a shot in there that is one of my favorite. It's very gimmicky, but it's hilarious. That's because Big Lebowski has very great cinematography. Let's see.
I think it might have been him.
Let's see. Who is it? Sorry for the detour. Just because Roger Deakins we're talking about here, and we'll redeem 1917.
Hell yeah, redeem it.
Yeah, it is Deakins. Okay, so like, you know that bowling ball shot? We were
insane,
inside
yeah.
the bowling ball, and the bowling ball is just rolling down the lane towards the pins.
Yeah.
Like that. I'll forgive him for all his sins creating 1917 for doing that. I'm just joking. I haven't seen 1917.
It's good.
I'm
It's
just
fun.
fucking around. I'll watch 1917.
I mean, like, God, just
So funny, dude.
thinking about Deakins personally. I mean, Blade Runner 2049 has some incredible camera stuff. Sicario, dude, the car sequence.
Oh my god, when they go over the border, that shot
Fucking
is
insane.
insane.
Skyfall, the like light through the windows in that building is a beautiful shot. A Serious
Deakins is the
Man,
goat.
the
Deakins
final
is the
shot is
all-time
amazing.
goat.
He's been around
Deakins
forever.
also has the best name.
Deakins, dude.
Yeah.
Deakins.
He doesn't stop pushing himself. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
It's not just like here's my style. Here's what I do.
Right,
That's
right.
You know, and I think that's
He's
what
adaptable.
makes him one of the best. Yeah.
Should have got him for the Odyssey, Nolan.
Dude, he shot like almost every Coen Brothers movie.
That's awesome.
Maybe. Yeah, he shot like most of them. Anyway, we should do a Roger Deakins episode. Unless we did already, I don't remember.
Sounds like something we would.
It sounds like something we would do. Cotolito says, I'm going to go on my recency bias for this one. I just watched the Amazon original, The Vast of Night. Yes, dude. I love The Vast
this
of Night.
movie.
And it has really fun camera stuff. And it's what I was talking about before, where it's like a low budget, like just do it camera style. It's got so many long takes in it, and like it's really well done in this movie because it places you in the space. Like the camera will go from the radio station to the school to the, you know, house, like whatever, and like it really just lets you see and feel this little town. And it just keeps you immersed.
Lived in town.
It's so nice. Good, dude. I love it. Really neat little slow burn of a UFO mystery movie, and I was really struck by a cool tracking shot in it. It's quite long, so I won't go into detail here, but I posted in the Discord if you want to check it out. It's also something as rare as modern movie that is not afraid of using actual black darkness to highlight the subjects in a scene. Way too underused these days. Classic anime of the month is Super Dimension Fortress Macross. Do you remember love?
What a name.
That is the name of that movie. Yes, this 1984 movie is still technically locked up in Harmony Gold's Robotech jail, but the recent Japanese 4K Blu-ray release includes brand new English subtitles, and since 4K is always region-free, this absolute banger of a space opera, or space pop concert as it were, is now de facto available to the English-speaking audience for the first time in a very long time. And what a gorgeous 4K transfer it is. Not since Akira have I rewound and gone frame by frame on certain scenes as much as this, easily stretching 115 minutes to well over 2 hours. If you want absolutely spectacular space battle scenes with insane multi-lock-on missile tracking shots, this is the anime for you. It's also worth noting
missile tracking shots.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that this is the uncut Japanese theatrical version with all the gore intact. Thank goodness. If you are curious about the legal clusterfuck that is the Robotech Macross situation, YouTube channel Secret Galaxy has an entire 1.5 hour rundown. I'll post the link in Discord. Love and respect. Wow, that sounds cool. Also, shout out to Top Gun Maverick. Some crazy camera shit in that.
Oh my god, yeah. Did that movie make like $1.5 billion, dude? That's so crazy.
I hope so. That
it deserved it.
Yeah,
I saw that theater like twice for no reason. It was like, this is sick.
Like, say what you will about the American military-industrial complex, but damn, that was a good movie.
It's so funny because I do not support any of that stuff, but then you see Top Gun movies, and it's just like, go,
yeah,
do it, guys.
It's one of the movies where it feels smart to not have a named enemy.
Yeah,
it's just the enemy has better planes than us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like some movies, I'm like, no, dude, call out fascism. Like, don't chicken out and just say like, oh, these guys, you know, like, no, who? Tell me who. Beto's Burrito, the Roger Deakins shot Denis Villeneuve movies come to mind. Sicario, Blade Runner, Prisoners. The cinematography for Sicario in particular really elevates what on paper seems like a standard crime thriller to S-tier cinema. I agree. I also love a haunting long shot. Bong Joon-ho does this a lot and will just leave you feeling unsettled as the credits roll. Yes, truth. You are speaking truths. Mike Karwai, the 1991 film Raise, The Red Lantern, directed by Zhang Yimou, is an engrossing Kubrickian work of art from mainland China. It is a masterclass in claustrophobic dread, and with its piercing use of color and perfectly composed frames, is one of the most beautiful looking movies I can think of. While a lot of people know him as the guy responsible, the culprit, if you will, for The Great Wall starring Matt Damon, or for his more successful martial art epics like Hero or House of Flying Daggers, some of his smaller scale dramas from earlier years are remarkably shot gems in their own right that feel less compromised and deserve more attention, in my opinion. You've seen that one?
Yes. I took a Chinese cinema course in college.
Oh, fun.
And I watched a lot of things that maybe I wouldn't have seen otherwise. That one's great. I don't think it's the same director, but it also has the title Red in its name, or the word Red in its name. Red Sorghum is also good, which these are names that just don't leap off the page at you, but are just like wonderful, engrossing films that, like have a lot of like history in them. Sometimes hard to watch history. There's like history often is brutal when you get into it. Same thing with like American history when you watch things like Saving Private Ryan, but they're just like, gorgeous movies, important movies. Yeah.
Mickey continues, also I have to mention one called The Cranes Are Flying, a Soviet-era anti-war film from the 50s that was shot by the same guy as the iconic Soy Cuba, or I Am Cuba. For what is otherwise a straightforward melodrama, it is profoundly elevated by inspired editing choices, and to this day some of the most audacious and elaborate camera work / photography of all time. Worth noting, the movie is only 90 minutes, and along with other European classics, is available free without ads on the official Mosfilm YouTube channel, MOS Film, one word. Finally, love him or hate him, I strongly feel that just about every movie with Terrence Malick's name attached is among the most stunning I've ever sat through. I'm definitely in the same boat as Huber when it comes to favoring the new world of the films made with legendary collaborator Emmanuel Lubezki. But more so than any other historical epic, it seems impossible to have achieved without an actual time machine. The shot of the natives witnessing the arrival of the ships at the beginning, or our young heroine reaching out in curiosity toward the face of an elderly vagrant, are certainly a couple of the many indelible images that come to mind from that modern American masterpiece.
Hell yeah.
P.S. As a shameless, unrelated aside, I'd like to state that I too believe in Shoplifters 2018 Supremacy. It was a favorite gateway experience to what became my favorite kind of world cinema, though it's been a while, I still consider the fabulous Sakura Ando's performance one of the most transcendently moving I've ever seen.
Yeah, I have not been that hyped on a movie in years. When I brought that to the show, when I watched that, incredible. My God.
So good. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
It was like a magical way of being touching without like feeling like it was pulling on your heartstrings. Really hard to do, you know? Yeah, it really sneaks in there. Yeah.
Totally. Oh, my God, that movie.
Matthew D says, from Wings 1927, the dolly shot that seemingly glides over the tables and between patrons at the champagne pour. Yes, that is an amazing shot. The last shot of The Evil Dead from 81 that tracks across the woods through the cabin into Ash's mouth. Yeah. The split screen sequence in Rules of Attraction 2002, in which Lauren and Sean get ready for class, meet up face to face, and the camera pans out to combine the shot of two of them. I still was always like, how did they do that last part? It's like, they lined that up really well. Yeah, that movie was kind of whatever, but that sequence was really good.
Has anybody brought up Into the Void?
No, not yet.
Gaspar Noé.
Yeah.
Or Climax. That's a oneer. Is that
like Into the Void? Literally has a scene where you're like in the vagina and the dick is coming at you.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. POV. New meaning to POV.
Yeah.
They do have that cool roller coaster, the little Tanuki roller coaster that's in Japan. I think maybe like the first roller coaster or wooden roller coaster in Japan. I went to go ride on that when I was in Japan. It's worth the visit. It's very very touristy, but it's cool. Yeah.
Does it go into a vagina?
That's why I went to it. Yeah.
It does?
No, it doesn't.
No.
Oh.
I was like, how is this related? Is it in...
No, it's in the movie. That's how it's related. Yeah. And it's in Into the Void. Yeah.
I see. I was told to watch that in the theater.
I saw it with 4 other people in the theater total, and it was awkward. It was like...
What's awkward is seeing the movie Love in the theater. And I saw that like packed in a small theater in LA.
Oh my god!
But those kind of like old theater seats because it was a classic theater, not one of those new theaters, like rickety old wooden seats.
Yeah.
Where just,
move
like, literally elbow
like,
to elbow. Yeah. I just didn't want to move the whole time because anyway.
I made it like 10 minutes into Love. Jason Wojnar. I was 12 years old when I saw Children of Men in theaters, And that was the first movie that really made me aware of camera work and how impactful it is on the tone and feel of the movie. Probably not the words I would have used when I was 12. The Raid movies and a couple other Indonesian action movies have some incredible camera movements to highlight the action. Watching the commentary on The Raid is so fun because the director talks about some of the ridiculous things they did, like throwing the camera to another operator in the middle of a shot. That's incredible. The Cranes Are Flying also has some incredible shots. There's a shot of a character running up a square staircase as the camera sits in the middle and follows him perfectly. Just think for a minute about how hard something like that would be to do in early 1950. The band Schmalgausen has several music videos that are all done in one shot with relatively complex choreography and camera movements. They are all cinematically done and not gimmicky like an OK Go video. The OK Go videos are cute. I don't know. They feel like artful extensions of the song instead of attempts at going viral. But yeah, OK Go are designed to go viral. That's true. Is it The Cranes Are Flying? No. There. I saw behind the scenes of a movie, and I've asked about this on the show before, and I always forget what it is. But there's a movie. I think it was from an Asian country, but like where they had like insane shots where like camera was like on like zip lines and like it went into like a marketplace and like there was these crazy long takes and like, does anyone know what I'm talking about? It seems really cool. I watched like a video about it on YouTube and then I don't ever remember what it's called. You're muted, I think.
Recent, in the last 10 years. Right? It's not a super old movie.
I don't think it's super old, but I don't remember.
Yeah, both me and Tokyo Slim have seen this movie. I saw it like in the theater, and it has like 3D sections. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't remember the title, so unfortunately, I'm not extremely helpful. Yeah, but I saw
Long Day's Journey into Night?
Yep. Yeah, that's the name of it. Yeah, Long Day's Journey into
An
Night.
hour-long, gravity-defying sequence shot, post-converted to 3D, that plunges its protagonist, and occasionally his point of view, down from a hilltop to a labyrinthian complex of semi-abandoned buildings via zipline and drone.
Yeah.
I need to see this.
It's one of the more impressive, continuous shots I've seen. It involves like motorcycles and fireworks and all kinds of, elaborate synchronization.
Sounds crazy.
The movie I had some hesitation on, just not for any complaints or ethics or anything like that. It wasn't my cup of tea story wise. It felt like a little just didn't connect with me. But the shots were very impressive. Like, cool. Very impressive, breathtaking shots. So if you just want to watch it for cinematography purposes, definitely worth checking out.
Shout out to The Protector.
Oh.
Long martial arts shot. Really cool. I love a good shot of somebody going down and fighting people as they're going down or up.
Yeah.
Just like fighting like 10 people.
Oh, I remember that
all
shot.
One shot.
I know what you're talking about. I love a good just like martial arts fights or like a fight scene just in one take. Where it's like, oh, they're actually just doing this. Like, love that. Love that. I don't love shaky camera combat.
No. Green grass.
Green grass. Jason Washner continues under the favorite anything else section. I have a new freelance gig in Kyiv working on sets for a production company where Ukrainian actors speak English. My job is to help the actors with their pronunciation and be a last set of eyes on the script to make sure the language sounds natural. Even though the days are sometimes absurdly long, it is a super fun job and everyone there is really awesome and nice. That's cool. This question is mostly for Matt since he works in the industry, but maybe Isla and Huber have some experience too. But what are your favorite and least favorite parts about working on a set?
Ooh.
They have their favorite and least favorite too. If you want me to read theirs first while you think, or
favorite and least favorite. I mean, I do a lot of post-production work, and I have worked a lot on sets, and sets I find very stressful. I'm an indoor person. I like to reflect a lot. I'm an overthinker, and sets, time is of the essence. Time is of the essence in post, but it's even more of the essence in sets. You just have to be very reactive. And so much money is being burned on sets, and so you can't overthink. You just have to act, and you have to know your shit, and you have to just make decisions quickly, and that's not my strength. So I avoid sets when possible, just so I can offer my best skills, which is in post. So my least favorite parts of sets are just, people are depending on me and I have to make decisions immediately. So that's just hard to do.
That's funny because I feel like the opposite. Like, I mean, we do a lot of writing together, and like I do a lot of editing, but like I think like over the course of my life, the times where I've like truly entered a flow state and like felt the most alive are when I was performing music or on a set. And like I love it because it's like so electric, and so I like can't, I have to be in the moment, like I can't think of anything else. And like to the detriment sometimes of my body, and if I'm in charge and the AD is not forcing a lunch break, because I'll forget about my human body. Yeah.
It's hard work for everybody. I mean, I know you two know also. It's very, very hard. It's strenuous. It's not easy work out there. And as Isla knows well, I've lost count of the times I've almost died because of this work. Yeah. like literally near death situations. And that's unfortunate. But favorite parts, I suppose, I just have sticking to set. I've been so fortunate to travel so much, and I am just really, really lucky. Like, that's really, really lucky. And even though it's hard when I'm doing stuff on set, like I look back on things I've been able to do in my life, and I'm like, I'm very lucky that I got put in those positions. Like, it's also like it's a hard job, but you're so lucky when you get to do it. Yeah. The places I've been able to visit and those opportunities.
That's the best.
Yeah. It's so cool. Like Huber was saying, like, if you're a person who goes to the Academy Awards, it's like such a fortunate person or place to be, sit there for however long it is. I've never gone to that, but like the situations I've been in, I've found myself complaining about later, maybe for valid or invalid reasons, but years later, I'm like, wow, that was really lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah. So. That's so human of us.
Yeah. How about you, or Huber? Because the question was directed to all of us.
I just stress out. Like, I haven't done any like full on like film productions, but I've been on sets for shoots, and it's just like the imposter syndrome is real.
Oh yeah.
One of my other favorite things is I love working with actors, and I love like rehearsals and like finding moments, and like I love that kind of stuff. Jason Wojnar's favorite part is the new people and real sense of teamwork. My particular position is a low-stress job, too, as long as I know when I am needed to show up to work with the actors during rehearsals, and when shooting the scene, I can pretty much do whatever I want throughout the day. Least favorite part, trying so hard not to ever be in the way or end up in the frame, but no matter how hard you try, once every couple of days you are reflected in a mirror or your shadow is in the frame, and you feel slightly embarrassed when the cameraman or the AD tells you to move. Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, that was part of it. Yeah.
Why is my camera looking so weird? Pulphead says, I saw Conclave on a flight recently and wasn't expecting to enjoy the visuals as much as I did. The shots felt both intimate enough to capture the feeling of being secluded, but also occasionally exterior to reinforce that there's a whole world going on outside this small gathering. I really enjoyed the darkened shots of the group deliberating and the overhead shots of the umbrellas by the fountain. Cool movie.
Great movie.
Colin Luton says, have you ever seen Shin Ultraman? It's part of Hideaki Anno's Shin series with Shin Godzilla and Shin Kamen Rider, though he passed directing duties to Shinji Higuchi. It's a kooky movie, but what makes it even kookier is the camera absolutely refuses to be set at normal angles. A 2-minute conversation about exposition will have the camera snap from Dutch angle to extreme close-up to fisheye wide to someone's hand to under the table to a rack focus on a random prop to a high-angle medium to between someone's legs to a shot from outside the window looking in, back to extreme close-up. It's exhausting, but also kind of hilarious. Surprisingly, the movie is more restrained when it's time for the kaiju battles, even though they switch from a grounded hand cam to insane flying video game cutscene camera at will. Also, if you've seen the movie, that one shot of Zophie, you know the one, I almost jumped straight out of my chair. Anyways, watch this movie if you haven't. It's insane.
I watched the one that came after Shin Ultraman. Why am I blinking on the name? Shin Kamen Rider?
Shin Kamen Rider?
Yeah. I watched that.
Okay.
And that was
I haven't seen
really
Shin
wild.
I haven't seen any of these. I didn't realize they
Yeah.
were like related because I've heard of Shin
Yeah.
Godzilla and Shin Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
Jason Wojnar also loves the camera work in Shin Godzilla's dialogue scenes. Yeah. Duff says, Hardcore Henry was a lot of fun as a proof of concept for first-person
That was a fun
action,
one.
even if the film doesn't hold up narratively. The side-scrolling fight from Oldboy also comes to mind for using the perspective less for the video game reference and more for conveying a sense of drawn-out exhaustion for everyone involved in the fight. There's highs and lows as you see our hero get knocked down and recover, while his assailants have to hype themselves up to take a swing and otherwise struggle to keep standing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so well performed. Like that's what makes a long take really sing, is if the performances are just locked in, and it's so hard to get all the pieces moving, to have all the actors hit at the same time and all that. It's crazy. Shout out to the Japanese tokusatsu scene for continually surprising me with their creativity. Shows like Mashin Sentai Kiramager. I am sorry about these pronunciations. From the franchise that was adapted into Power Rangers, has an extended sequence where the team was split up and we see giant robots and monsters fight as two members of the team engage the grunts on the ground, intermittently having to dodge rubble and wild blows from the giants fighting above them. All of this in a wide, continuous shot. This isn't including the many drone shots that became increasingly common in fight scenes, requiring the stunt performers to time their choreography around a flying drone to move between them. That's cool. Colt Smith says, my favorite shots of all time come from the master of incredible shots. In his honor, here are my top 5 Akira Kurosawa shots.
Oh, yeah.
Number 1, the incredible shot from Ron where the castle is burning. To avoid spoilers, it's a long take, yes. 2, the shot from Dreams with the rainbow over the field of flowers. 3, the shot from Sanjuro where the blood hose fails that birthed like all anime shots ever. 4, the dream shot from Kagemusha. 5, the shot from Ron where the soldiers are marching above the soldiers sitting at sunset. I don't remember that one. Like, good lord, I could talk about his god tier shots for multiple hours, but I'll keep it here. Oh yeah, I mean, Kurosawa is the GOAT. Like goddamn, I love Ron. Tokyo Slim, I have some definite favorites in this area. Right off the top of my head, Hitchcock/Spielberg's dolly zooms, gimmicky, but when done with intention, there's nothing like it. In modern day, in my opinion, there's a few schools of thought and a couple of masters, quote-unquote, within each of these distinct schools. IMO in the traditional school, where you have a frame and you're making a proactive choice on lighting and composition and physically, moving your camera. Really, everyone is chasing Emmanuel Lubezki. Am I saying his last name right? Lubezki. His work with Malick, Cuarón, Burton, and Coen Brothers, and Inarritu is one of the greatest library of cinema shots in recorded history. The New World, Children of Men, Gravity, Birdman, The Birdcage, masterpieces. People may bring up Deakins, but I feel like he's more of a shot composition guy, and Lubezki is the movement guy. Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. Kind of like Doug Jones is the guy you put in a monster suit, and Andy Serkis is the guy you mocap if you're doing CGI, but maybe that's just me. The second school of thought is the tech school, where things like FPV drone shots and stuff like 1917's fake one-shot are the primary artistic direction and require more of a technological director. Michael Bay, don't boo me, you know it's true, really has been one of the premier directors working in this space. If you look at stuff like Transformers and Ambulance, and even Pain and Gain, he's got shots that are physically just impossible to achieve without the tech. Ambulance in particular has some of the most insane drone shots I have ever seen.
It's really crazy. I was like, what the hell? I was like, because I remember when that came out and the buzz was good and it was like hyped on large format. And people were like, dude, you should see Ambulance in like the IMAX or some shit. And I just never did. But now I regret it because it would have been fucking awesome.
This made me think about Michael Mann and one of the earlier digital shot movies, Collateral, which I think is really good and does low light incredibly well. And like
one of the best movies ever made.
I love that movie, yeah. Tokyo Slim continues, I enjoyed The Dead Thing. Shot by my friend directed by my friend Elric Kane. It's on Shudder now for those who want to watch it. I haven't seen it yet because I think he mentioned like there's a screening coming up that I wanted to try to go to, but I haven't seen it yet. But yes, Cobra Kai's ending was nearly perfect for me, nearly because I don't like resurrecting dead actors with AI, but the way in which it was implemented is more... Sorry if this is a spoiler, I don't know. Implemented is more tolerable to me than in Romulus because of the circumstances. Still made me feel icky, though, and I wish they'd shot it differently. It was like 10 questionable seconds out of the last season, though, so it's still like a 9.9 out of 10. Show had me sobbing like a baby for the last 2 episodes. They clarify, Tokyo Slim also clarifies, Lubezki does tech shots, didn't want to give the impression that he's just a handheld old school motion guy. He's just the best old school motion guy. 2 to go. Garrett Hallfish, similar to Presence, another perspective film that stuck out to me was Nickel Boys. This film is shot entirely in first person, pulling you into the shoes of a black teen in 1960s America. It makes the movie feel more intimate as characters make eye contact with you, the viewer. As a white male, I can't always relate to life as a black teen, but this movie is effective in making you feel for the character in ways you don't normally get from other movies. Also, shout out to the new game Lost Records. You shoot your own home videos, and you can go green grass, Dutch angle, pan, and zoom to your heart's content. Weirdly timely for this topic. Yeah, we both played that, Huber and I. And
check out Easy Allies Spoiler Mode.
Yeah, we did a spoiler mode on it. Yeah. I just had a thought, but now I forgot what it was. Huh? Oh well.
Nickel Boys is great. Like the first person kind of POV filmmaking, I was like, I think a couple other movies have tried it. What was that Assassin movie? I can't remember.
Hardcore Henry is the one they
remember that Maniac one. Or something also.
Yeah. And so I was like, this is kind of, video gamey. And Nickel Boys is a very serious story. It's, it's about like an abusive, murderous reform school near Tallahassee, Florida, which is where I live. So much like, awful, oppressive racism where they just rounded up kids illegally and are like, now you're in JV and we own you and you can't get back out. Even a lot of them, didn't do anything. But obviously, even people who did things were such minor infractions, they didn't belong in like this such a violent institution.
Yeah.
So I was like, how is this kind of like video gamey look gonna match up? Mm-hmm. But they did so many innovative things with this camera look. Some of which are plot related that are kind of spoilers. And as you see it develop, and the ways it's used, and some amazing editing too. The montages with archival stuff. I'm like, oh, this movie is biting off a lot and accomplishes a lot. Like it pulls it off. It's such a cool movie. Highly recommend it for innovation and powerful storytelling.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me of one of the things I forgot that I watched recently was Rebel Ridge.
Rebel Ridge is good. I saw it too on Huber's recommendation.
Loved it.
It was interesting because I really loved it for the first half, and then I was kind of surprised by how just kind of story focused it got, which wasn't bad, but I just wasn't expecting it. And then kind of the way it ended, I was kind of like, what are we saying exactly? Because I expected it to be more hardline kind of ACAB, so I was a little surprised, but I liked it, yeah.
It felt
and his performance was incredible. It felt optimistic, but to the point that I thought was maybe naive a little. I don't know. But I liked the main guy. What's his name? His performance was really good.
Hero or whatever.
And I like Saulnier a lot, so I mean Green Room is probably still my favorite, but
hell yeah.
All right, last one. Matchrock Records. Nothing on topic this month, but I realized one of my favorite YouTube videos has been taken down because of copyright claims. Isla, your Paddington 2 / No Country for Old Men video essay is gone. I was trying to find that the other day, as a matter of fact, and I couldn't.
Two perfect movies ever made.
That explains that, because I was actually trying to find that. There's somewhere else we could find it. I used to show people that video after making my friends watch both of those perfect films. Also, Huber would love to hear your thoughts on the ending of Cobra Kai. We did that, and you did a spoiler mode with Damiani already.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's there.
We go deep.
Your wish is granted.
Go all in. Yeah, all in on it. We left nothing on the table. We left nothing on the mat.
Yeah, I'm proud of that video. I don't love my voice in it, but yeah, it's a bummer because I was trying to find it the other day and I was like, it's gone. And I'm unaware of us having a copyright claim on the channel. I guess I should check, but
gotta get a hard copy of that.
I mean, it would still be in our back end, so I could maybe try to find it that way.
Can you put things on VHS?
You can put things on VHS, yeah.
That's still a thing.
Oh yeah, not easily, but you can. One can.
Hell yeah. You should put it on VHS.
Matt and I actually spent some time talking about VHS and upconverting VHS, and I have a lot of VHS filters and effects. One of my music videos that I'm working on has some, because I found a bunch of my sister digitized a bunch of our old family movies, and so in the background of one of my music videos I'm using a bunch of my own actual childhood videos, and it was fun to see all these videos and stuff, because the tracking issues and stuff on the tapes were just captured by the digital conversion, and so it ends up looking pretty fun and
Sick.
And authentic. So I'm gonna have to use modern effects to match the modern stuff to the older stuff, but all the older stuff is legitimate. Yeah, it's fun.
Fucking sick.
Anywho, that's gonna do it.
World.
Digital world. That's gonna do it for this month, everybody. Thank you so much for those who wrote in. Thank you to Matt and Mike for being here as always.
Always.
Thanks to my camera for getting all dark and weird. Whatever. This is what I get for turning off auto exposure, because it looked all weird at first, but now it looks too dark. Anyways, yeah, we'll be back next month, or this month, for our March episode. Check out Reaction Shots on Patreon, patreon.com/reactionshots. If you want to get involved in the conversation, we really appreciate it, and we have a really fun Discord. Everybody's really nice on there, talking about movies.
Hell yeah,
and TV, which we all love.
I love the Oscars because you're allowed to just love movies and celebrate them for a day, and it's so nice. It was so nice.
I really
Everyone
loved
coming
Conan's-
together, loving movies, talking about movies. Yeah, the speech about
His speech about just like movies and like this being
Yeah.
the time to celebrate. Yeah.
And then even I thought one of the funniest bits was Cinema Streams. Conan
Oh,
when he
yeah.
was like, new streaming service. It's in
it's in a
this
theater.
building.
Yeah.
It was
How do you
so
hold the
funny.
phone? And it's like, we hold it for you. The building holds it.
We have thousands of phones together and it makes one big screen.
Yeah, that was funny.
So funny. Shout out.
All right. Anything else, boyos?
Nada.
Watching Cold Blood, the
Whoa.
original from the 60s. Conrad Hall is the DP. One of
That's
the great DPs.
What's his name? The murderer.
Robert
Robert
in the
yeah.
murder in the movie.
The murderer in the movie, yeah.
And we are not legally allowed to state if he was in real life. Investigate yourself.
yeah. Yeah.
Do you
But
He's
understand-
also in Money Train. That's
Yeah.
where I remember Robert Blake from.
I remember him from Lost Highway.
I was gonna say,
in
the
your
guy from
home
Lost
right
Highway?
now.
Yeah.
I'm in your home.
That movie is creepzilla. Dude. Wait, is he like a real world creepazoid? I don't know anything about this.
Real world like
Oh, yeah.
murder allegations, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
never
Holy
knew
shit.
this? You never
I mean,
knew
maybe
this?
I knew and forgot about it. I've forgotten more than
There
you've
was a
ever known.
trial, and yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and Cold Blood though is the Truman Capote book, and he
Yeah.
plays one of the murderers in that movie. And the
That's where he learned it.
cinematography is black and white cinematography.
So good.
Rain reflections off a window onto his face makes it look like he's crying. Oh, yeah,
Great movie.
some of the best. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say.
That's your
Watch
homework.
Money Train too. Apparently, we're doing Robert Blake next month.
Oh God, we're lawyered up. We can do it.
Yeah.
Just like Conan.
We'll do an episode of problematic people. No, we're not.
Robert Blake and Drake. Robert.
Oh my
Drake.
god. All right.
Get us out of here. Get us out of here.
We'll see you next month, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.